For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today, and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
News team, assemble!
Joining us live, because if you want to know anything about the Outer Banks, Sam Walker's the dude to fill you in.
The sea was angry that day, my friends. Like an old man trying to send back soup in a deli.
Always appreciate talking to you.
Always good stuff with Sam Walker in the Outer Banks.
Now here's Les Nessman and the news.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to OBX Today Live, presented by Gallup Funeral Services on the OBX Today and Sam Walker OBX Facebook pages and the Sam Walker OBX YouTube channel. Glad to have you along with us on this Friday edition.
Thank God it's Friday!
That's for sure. Another weekend is here into February. We some warm weather for the end of the week, but it's not going to last, unfortunately. We hit 70. I was down on Hatteras Island yesterday and got up to 70 degrees while we're down there. Maybe get there today. It'll be tough because we got clouds and this wind blowing in off the water out of the south. So our spots here on the beach is probably not going to get to 70, but still a chance. Inland, though, it may get up to the mid-70s. Rain's not quite across the state yet. It's probably not going to get after this in the state until we get to around lunchtime. I was just looking at the latest radar, and rain had just not even gotten to Raleigh yet. So a little bit longer before we start seeing the rain. Good morning, George, up in Connecticut. Thanks for checking in with us on the comments, and we'll try to get some shout-outs and answer your questions if you throw them at us on our Facebook page, on the OBX Today Facebook page with live comments there. And try to get those responses to you. But let's get right into the headlines this morning. And, of course, the big story everybody's talking about here on the beach is what's going on with those boats that washed up. More boats washing up Wednesday night. And then, again, on the one that's been on Ocracoke since last week. The video we got up right now is what we shot yesterday morning from south of Ramp 4 on Body Island and Oregon Inlet. And you see those two sport fishing boats that are out there that were out there after running into trouble coming into the inlet Wednesday night. And we got a little bit more detail about what happened, why they ended up on the beach, and then also the recovery effort, which didn't take all that long. And big shout out to our buddy Captain Stuart Westcott at Cito Oregon Inlet. He's been on the scene ever since it started Wednesday night and has been coordinating the effort there to get those boats removed and eventually back in the water. The Bite Me, and that is the boat to the left. It's registered. It's a 32-foot. The boat on the right is the Bite Me. That's the Albemarle. Had a hard time seeing when I was shooting this video yesterday. I will admit it was having a hard time seeing. Don't want to move that one. Let's move this. Yeah, there we go. Better framing. Having a hard time seeing through our phone that we use to do our Facebook Live and stuff when we're on scene and shoot our video. So anyway, the one on the right, that's the Bite Me, which had actually on a transom out of Ocean City, Maryland, but it's registered to an owner in Pennsylvania. And then the Real Lucky, that's the 35-footer on the left. It's registered to an owner from New Jersey, but it does have Manteo as its hometown on the transom. Both those boats grounded in the breakers of Oregon Inlet, just about the exact same spot that a scallop trawler came ashore back in the spring of 2020 and sat for about a year, or more than a year, actually, up until, well, just last November. That scallop boat was sitting there as a steel boat, where these are fiberglass and wood, which has made the recovery effort much easier. Now, according to a crew member, the Bite Me ran into trouble trying to get through the inlet, had some issues with its navigation and power, and then they were coming into the inlet and had gotten in contact with somebody else that was coming through, and they thought they were following the boat they were talking to, but it turned out they weren't. They were following another boat. Now, these boats were trying to come into the marked channel, and that channel runs right along parallel to the beach where the buoys are in Oregon Inlet. Runs right along. I mean, it's not more than 100 yards out from where you see right now those buoys out there. And if I fast forward a little bit, I'm not sure if I can get those into the exactly. You won't really be able to see. Yeah, you might be able to see them. Way out there, a little nun buoy floating out there, almost the center. Let me see if I can pause it. I can't really zoom it for you, but right in about the center, just on the other side of the white foam, and then you see the blue, and then there's more breakers offshore. That's the breakers on the actual bar. We call that the ocean bar. That's the sandbar that runs across the mouth of the inlet, and that's what makes it so difficult to get in. And then you got some water, some deeper water, but we're only talking about deeper water in the 5, 6, or 7. The 5, 6, 7, 8 feet at most, but really some shoals in there that are 3 and 2 feet. Have not looked at the most recent survey. In fact, they haven't really conducted a recent survey of Oregon Inlet because of the conditions we've had. I might be able to pull something up here. 2022. Okay, yep. There's bridge sequence. Yeah, bar. They haven't done anything. December 29th was the last time the ocean bar had been done. But there was a survey earlier this week of around the bridge. So I might be able to pull that up on the screen anyway. Oh, yeah, here we go. All right, you know what? Let me switch over to the display here because I can really show you exactly where we're talking about. This is where the grounding happened. Right here is where these two came ashore. Now, this survey was conducted at the end of December. And you can see there is some deep water. I mean, it's 10, some 10, 11, 12 feet. There's those two buoys I was just showing you. There's 8 and 9. This is the closest point of where the channel that's marked comes in. But again, this is over a month ago. And ever since then, we've had all these coastal storms come through that have really changed things. Something that's interesting to note, I'm looking at the survey here. Let me see if I can zoom down. Let's see if we can zoom down here. And so this is the spot where those two boats came ashore. Right there. I'll try to center that up. There you go. So here's where those two boats right here is in this stretch of beach. The 8 and 9 buoy in the channel, just on the inside or outside of that, in the inlet, is where a boat went down almost 30 years ago, back in the late 80s, early 90s, the Lois Joyce, a little bit, in the 90s. That's where that boat sat, was actually the beach was on, it was in the beach, and then eventually it had been swallowed up. That's the wreck of the Lois Joyce. That's almost the exact same spot where that this incident that happened on Wednesday night took place. Merman Dan asking, where can you find those? If you search Oregon Inlet Surveys, just do a Google search, Oregon Inlet Survey, and you go on the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers site. That's where you'll find all this information. So right here is where, and you can, if you can see, The red, that's only like 2, 3, 4 feet of water. Now out here, it's 10, 12 feet, according to that latest survey. But again, that survey was conducted in late December. We've since had, 4 storms come through that have probably changed the dynamic in the inlet. And what we understand is, and talking to Stuart Westcott yesterday when we were out there and some other folks, that's not the channel really that's as deep as elsewhere. On the opposite side of Oregon Inlet is much deeper water. But because this is the channel that's been marked, that's the one that is surveyed in that area. But if you go down here and if you're looking at, let me see if I can, let me do something here. I'll go to the bridge. Okay, yeah, here's a better idea. Here is the bridge survey that was conducted this past week. And you can see the water that's, there is another channel that's marked. And so there are 2 channels. No, I'm sorry. You got 1 channel, because what happens is here's 11. And then the map goes over here, because the way the marked channel works is it comes out on the south end of the inlet and then cuts across diagonally over to the north side of the inlet. But from what everyone's been saying is the water going straight through the inlet gorge. And this is just naturally occurring. This deep water right here just goes straight out. Now, getting over the bar can be a hassle because you got the tip of Pea Island still out there, and there are some breakers out there. But that channel is not marked. But because the water's gotten so deep and because of the weather conditions, the Coast Guard hasn't been able to get in and really adjust these channel markings. So the boats that have been trying to go through, and in fact, we saw them yesterday going through down off the other side of the inlet, on the Pea Island side of the inlet, because the water was so deep out there. So what happened with these boats, and we'll go back to, let me go back over to them. Yep. So there's that 8 and 9 that I was talking about. Those buoys are right there. Channel runs right along the beach, runs right on over towards the bridge, and then cuts across the inlet. And I can maybe fast forward here because we did see a couple of those boats. I see those boats way off in the distance as we get later in the video. And this is all from our Facebook Live we did yesterday morning, which you can go back and look at OBX Today's Facebook page and see. There's Stuart. We were talking to him right then, as he and his son is out there on at Albemarle. They were getting it all prepped up. And it's funny, they had lines attached to the truck that was parked there to make sure they were stabilized. And this all was yesterday morning. Here we go. They will zoom down. So as those boats try to come through the inlet, a lot of them going through on the other side. And then as we zoom down, you'll be able to see, there they go. In fact, what was great was yesterday during that Facebook Live video, we actually were the folks who are on that boat were communicating with us via Facebook Live. That was a really cool moment there to be able to do that. All right, so let's go back to the situation we had here. There's Wicked Tuna and their production crew talking to one of the guys that was on one of the boats the other night. So here you go. Here's where they look. And someone was asking just exactly what happened. So they ran into trouble. The one that's over here, that is the Real Lucky. They got unlucky. They had problems with some electrical issues. Navigation started acting up, and they were hoping to kind of tag along with another boat that was coming through. They both ran into trouble as they got too close to shore and got pushed up into the shallows and into the beach. Eventually got on shore. There were 5 people on board combined on the 2 vessels. Not sure. It was probably a 2 and 3 situation. And they got off safely. They actually put on their exposure suits, those dry suits that will keep you warm and at least give you a chance to survive if you get into this cold water, which is in the 40s here this time of year. They were able to get up on shore, no problem. And, and then, of course, the Coast Guard had folks out there from Coast Guard Station Oregon Inlet and elsewhere. We were out there. The National Park Service is out there, of course, surveying because it is on Park Service land. So they're responsible for that part of it. And this was from, again, yesterday morning. All the video that we shot yesterday from out at Oregon Inlet yesterday morning. Now, since then, things have progressed rather quickly. Already, let's see if we can get over to our Twitter, because if you go to my Twitter account, if you go to our story at obxtoday.com, I've got quite a bit of this video pulled up that you can check out and some of the photos. Here we go. This video I've got over on Twitter right now, not all that long. Here you go. There's the Bite Me getting towed. And what they did was they're able to get these vessels out of the water up into, and one thing that helped with this recovery effort, where the other recovery efforts that took place when we had some tidal issues, that's kind of slowed things down because the water was so far out because we are in the new moon tide cycle. So the tides are higher than normal when we got a new moon going on. But the plan was to tow these boats off the beach. That's right. Using that strap, they got the strap actually wrapped around. The propeller is right in this area. And then right here's the keel, and there's a space where the keel stops to go back over under the stern and to the transom. So they're just able to take that strap, wrap it around the keel, and just tow it with an excavator. And that's what happened. In fact, Stuart sent us a photo later on. That's the top on our story at obxtoday.com. There they are, just dragging her off the beach. And with that crane towing that's going down ahead, getting up to ramp 4, they'll use that crane and just lifted the Real Lucky up, put her on a trailer, and take her wherever they need to take her to get her checked out. Now, the plans for the other boat, which is the Bite Me, it was still there last night. They were going to run out of time to be able to do anything. So those are styrofoam blocks. They already lifted it up, put it on styrofoam blocks, and then just let it sit. There was a little bit of question about exactly what's going to happen with the Bite Me. So they at least got it out of the water, got it up on the blocks, and then what they were going to do today. But most likely they're going to do the same thing. They'll just tow it on the beach, drag it up sand, up to milepost 4, lift it up, put it on a trailer, and haul it away. Both boats looked in good shape. Didn't look like there was any damage on them, but of course they need to be checked out because bumping along and banging in. Because we understand that the Real Lucky actually did hit bottom coming through the bar as things went on Wednesday night. So they'd already had some issues there. So both boats need to be checked out for their seaworthiness before they get back out. Of course, all the excitement going on, all this happening at the same time that the bluefin tuna season is in full swing. We showed you the video there a little while ago of the Wicked Tuna crew that's here. So, just so happens, we got the Wicked Tuna Outer Banks, new season being shot. You got all the excitement about the bluefin tuna, which actually, since the weather cooperated and the boats have been able to get out, we've had reports of some big, some pretty decent sized bluefins getting caught in the 500, 600 pound category, and even bigger, possibly. And that's going to continue. Of course, we got this southwest blow, which makes things tough getting through the inlet. Then we're going to switch back to a north and northeast, but that's just the nature of trying to navigate Oregon Inlet this time of year and get out there and chase those big bluefin tuna that everybody wants to see on TV and bring them up to the beach or bring them up to the marina, sell them, make some money on them. There's the Wicked Tuna crew out there doing their shots yesterday. There's my buddy Jeff Cahill, who took the trip down to Hatteras with me yesterday and to check things out at Oregon Inlet. So that is the latest on those two boats as they are going to be gone today. So if you didn't get down there yesterday, probably by the end of the day today before the rain gets here, there's not going to be much to see or anything to see. They're going to be gone. Now, it's not the same story down at Ocracoke as the Vivens Aqua continues to sit on South Point in Ocracoke. There's been a little bit of a change, a little bit of new development there with regards to the Vivens Aqua and what's going to happen with it. those of you want to see the Vivens Aqua, hadn't familiar with that vote. Let's see here. Here we go. Yeah, there you go. I got to move that graphic. There's the Vivens Aqua as it sat on Wednesday at the South Point of Ocracoke. And our friends Connie Leinbach, Pete Vankevich at OcracokeObserver.com. They've been on top of this story ever since it started and doing the updates. So the latest on the Vivens Aqua is that after several days of attempts to pull it out into the water, Tuesday's high tide, morning high tide, was the last time that Towboat US tried to pull the boat into Ocracoke Inlet. The owner, Scott Pumphrey, on Wednesday said from inside his boat, the towboat crew untied their anchors because his insurance company told them on Tuesday to discontinue their work. But Lee Sykes, who owns Towboat US out of Morehead City in the Atlantic Coast Marine Group, said that his crew had demobilized and left the scene, that they had actually done what they could do, that they were trying to tow it, but now it's successfully protected the vessel from the seas and weather, lightened the fuel load, and stabilized and pivoted the vessel. Their efforts are done. So the vessel owning interest made arrangements to move the vessel out over land, and with that decision, the seaward option has concluded. So what there sounds like is that now the insurance company for the Vivens Aqua has taken over, but the owner of the boat, Scott Pumphrey, says that his insurance company is acting like they don't know what they're going to cover. But from the what Ocracoke Observer's reporting is, Darren Burris, who owns Cape Dredging out of Ocracoke, has been available to get the boat off the beach since the accident, but he wasn't hired at the outset, nor is the insurance company committed, and he's headed out of town for vacation. So now the insurance company is in investigation mode, but Pumphrey's concerned they might not pay for the excavation. So rather than try to tow it out back in the water, they've also switched to a landward option, but they've waited so long that might hamper trying to get the Vivens Aqua off the beach at Ocracoke. So we'll stay in touch with our folks, with Connie and Peter at OcracokeObserver.com. You can check over there for their latest updates. We'll get them links shared up for those for you at OBXtoday.com as things develop with that situation. So there you go. That's the latest. The National Park Service, of course, putting out press release saying that with the Vivens Aqua, they were just waiting for a plan before they can give permits to be able to move it off the ground. They'd already issued the permits by yesterday afternoon. That's why you saw so much work was happening at Oregon Inlet so fast, because they were able to get the permits from the Park Service and get those boats out of there. Of course, what will happen if they don't do that? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Of course, we saw with the Ocean Pursuit, it took almost 18 months to get it out of there. Different situation because these are steel boats rather than fiberglass and wood. The Park Service is more than willing to work with the owners of these boats to get them off, as long as there's not a hazard to beachgoers and the environment. They're willing to work with these owners to try and get these boats off. We've seen that with sailboats that have washed up, like on Pea Island in the past, that they're more than willing. The Department of Interior is more than willing to work with the owners, but eventually things are going to happen that won't allow those boats to stay on the beach much longer. Right now, the only ones it looks like it's going to be the Vivens Aqua. After today, it's going to still be out there down at Ocracoke. Of course, so at the 5th and 6th, we've had 6 boats wash up this winter since November. And we've had some people ask, hey, is this unusual? It is kind of unusual. We'll see a boat every now and then up on the beach, but with social media, everybody's got a camera on their phone. Pretty much we know when one of these is going to happen. And the amount of people that are out on the beach on a daily basis, we pretty much know when something like this happens, everybody's going to know about it, get the info, and see about it. But of course, here on the Outer Banks, it's been thousands and thousands and thousands of boats that have run into trouble, ended up on the beach at some point. It just so happens this is the year that all of them are coming up. This is the off season. We're seeing this happen. So unusual, but yes, not unusual. It's the graveyard of the Atlantic for a reason. All right, it's OBX Today Live here on Facebook and YouTube. I'm Sam Walker. Take a break, come back after this.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
Our pet of the week for this week is Beowulf. Beowulf was surrendered to us due to no fault of his own. This big boy has a lot of energy and loves to be goofy once he gets to know you. He loves to play fetch and knows how to sit. He previously lived in a home with 2 other dogs and was around children. So if you're looking for an addition to your family, come by and meet this guy. To adopt Beowulf or foster one of our other animals, you can come visit us Monday through Saturday at our shelter located in Manio. We will be having a rabies clinic February 14th to the 18th with $15 rabies vaccinations. For more information, visit our website at www.obxspca.org or visit our OBX SPCA Facebook page.
Back on OBX Today Live here on Facebook and YouTube. I'm Sam Walker. Glad to have you along on this Friday edition.
Thank God it's Friday!
And yesterday, we got a story up at obxtoday.com and the latest on the saga of the Red Wolves here in northeastern North Carolina. Following a community informational meeting and listening session that was held recently, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service announced during that meeting that they are going to release 9 red wolves into the wild on the mainland. They'll be released in Alligator River National Wildlife Refuge and Pocosin Lakes National Wildlife Refuge. Total of 9 includes a family unit and 2 breeding pairs. So a family unit of 5 and 2 breeding pairs that will be released. This is all part of resuming under a series of changes happened. Court orders. You had the change in the administration from the Trump administration to the Biden administration. One of the first things that the Fish and Wildlife Service did under the Biden administration has been to reverse some of the changes that happened in the previous administration with the Red Wolf management policies. So already the Red Wolves have been transferred to a facility that's over in Terrell County, and they will eventually be released into the wild in Alligator River and Pocosin Lakes on the mainland. Of course, that's the Red Wolves. There's only maybe a dozen, if that. It's not really clear exactly the exact number. I know of at least 9 that are still alive and roaming the mainland, what's known as the Albemarle Peninsula. I'm not sure we don't really have a name for that. It's just the mainland. Dare, Hyde, Terrell, Washington, and Beaufort counties. That range there between the Albemarle Sound and the Pamlico River. That's their range in those wildlife refuges and private lands that surround the refuges over on the mainland. So 9 red wolves are planned to be released by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in the near future. Of course, I'm sure we'll get some photos and such in the press release when that happens. And we'll update you at obxtoday.com. But you can read details about what the latest announcements are on the plans to get the red wolves out and released. Made that trip down to Hatteras yesterday. Was able to check out how things are going with the Jug Handle Bridge. Just so happened, Joy Chris got a story up at islandfreepress.org. Still looks like maybe late February or early March, the Jug Handle Bridge could open. That's despite the winter storms that have slowed some progress. NCDOT spokesman Tim Haas said that they're getting closer, but still not at a point where they can give a definitive date either for a community day or for moving traffic onto the bridge. It could be as early as that last week of February, first week of March. However, there are a lot of factors that will determine what the final date will be. And while all structural components of the bridge are complete, in order to open the bridge, the traffic construction crews need to complete grinding and grooving operations. to give the bridge a textured surface to drive on. That work is very weather dependent, as low temperatures can slow the process. In addition, other items need to be completed, including removing the final 2 cranes and work trestle. Finishing the concrete islands and driveways are required for the approaches to the bridge, and other punch list items that will make the bridge safe for motorists and pedestrians. Once the bridge is complete, a celebration is planned to mark the occasion, similar to the community day that was held for the Bass Night Bridge in February of 2019. It included a ribbon cutting ceremony with numerous stakeholders. Governor Cooper came, followed by an opportunity for the public to walk or ride a bike on the new bridge before it opened to vehicular traffic. Now, the first ever 2022 Run the Rodanthe Bridge 5 mile and 5K is planned by the Rodanthe Way Salvo Civic Association. That'll correspond with the Jug Handles Bridge debut. Registration's already exceeded 425 participants, and permission's been granted to allow more runners and walkers. If you're interested, you can go to tinyurl.com/Rodanthe Run to sign up. Now, as far as the community day goes, Haas said they continue to work with Dare County to determine possible dates and events. There's a tentative date, though, that has been set for that 5 mile and 5K of March 12th, Saturday, March 12th, the second Saturday of March. That's the tentative date. They had to put a date on it at some point for the event, I guess, basically so the event signups could happen. But it could be earlier, it could be later. But March 12th seems like, looking at what we looked at the other day, or yesterday when we were down there, that seems like a legitimate date. That it's about 4 weeks away from when they could have the community day. And then anytime after that, looks like the bridge will open. So those have been asking about when the Jug Handle Bridge will open. It looks like it's going to be mid-March, is the more likely date for that opening. What else we got at OBXtoday.com? Got a story up from Coastal Review. Lena Beck has written it about Spot, talking about the declines and fluctuations in spot numbers and what's going on as far as, now we have a limit on recreational catches of spot and croaker, some of the most popular bottom fish to catch here on the Outer Banks, and some of the easiest fish to catch, honestly. The state's put in these regulations to limit it. That's 50 fish bag limit in the recreational sector. There's a commercial season closure that goes in effect from December to April for spot. And also there's a lot of studies on what's going on with spot populations. You can read that on the H2O page at obxtoday.com. Latest on COVID-19 in North Carolina, almost 15,000 new cases, up from the previous day yesterday, but we're still seeing case numbers about half of where they were just a couple weeks ago. Positive test rates also dropped. Number of hospitalizations has dropped as well. The numbers trending downward. Of course, state health officials and local health officials note that those numbers, especially on the testing, are probably skewed because so many people are doing at-home tests. Those at-home tests from the federal government have started to arrive. So more people testing at home and not reporting the results just because there's no real easy way to do that. So that's why those numbers may be going down. The State Board of Education got their COVID update yesterday from the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. State Health Director Betsy Tilson told board members that cases among children going down and vaccination rates are increasing. North Carolina Superintendent of Public Instruction, Catherine Turret, brought up a big question in her mind is when it will be safe for students to stop wearing masks, and is calling on the Department of Health and Human Services to implement goalposts for local school districts to follow, and that when they'll know when metrics are at a certain point that they don't have to require masks. Now, masks are still, local school boards have the option to make them either optional or mandatory. Some local school systems were going to make them optional and then change that after the spike in cases because of Omicron. Then the school boards can reevaluate that each month. The state does not mandate masks. Many school districts, though, following the Department of Health and Human Services toolkit when it comes to masking. Update on what's going on with that fire out in Winston-Salem. Last night, they reduced the evacuation zone around the Weaver fertilizer plant from a mile to an eighth of a mile. That's because all the rain that was hitting the triad yesterday helped suppress the fire. There's still concerns about the possibility of an explosion. That's why they've kept at least an eighth of a mile evacuation zone. We'll get an update on that probably this morning from Winston-Salem. regarding that fertilizer plant fire out there. There's a new scholarship that's been announced by the Theater of Dare, the Community Theater of the Outer Banks. They're now taking applications for the Don Bridge Memorial Scholarship for high school seniors as well as current college students. Last year, $8,000 was awarded to 4 local seniors as well as 2 college students who were previous recipients of TOD scholarships. You can get more details in the Neighbor to Neighbor Help Zone at obxtoday.com. Congratulations to Danny Williams of Corolla's Food Lion store. He is the Divisional Store Manager of the Year, recognized for his dedication to Corolla and the company's core value of care and its commitment to nourish and enrich the lives of customers, associates, and neighbors. Williams began his Food Lion career as a stocker 26 years ago, has been a store manager for the last 16 years, and currently is a manager at the Food Lion in Corolla. So congratulations to Danny Williams on getting that honor from Food Lion. And that's some of the latest we got for you at obxtoday.com. We'll take a break, come back with sports on this Friday morning.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
Our pet of the week for this week is Beowulf. Beowulf was surrendered to us due to no fault of his own. This big boy has a lot of energy and loves to be goofy once he gets to know you. He loves to play fetch and knows how to sit. He previously lived in a home with 2 other dogs and was around children. So if you're looking for an addition to your family, come by and meet this guy. To adopt Beowulf or foster one of our other animals, you can come visit us Monday through Saturday at our shelter located in Manio. We will be having a rabies clinic February 14th to the 18th with $15 rabies vaccinations. For more information, visit our website at www.obxspca.org or visit our OBX SPCA Facebook page.
All right, back here on OBX Today Live. Winding it down on this Friday.
Thank God it's Friday!
And in sports, we'll start with high school basketball because it's getting down to the final stretch of the regular season. Full slate of games tonight locally. And, of course, the playoffs will be here in just a short amount of time. Conference tournament starting this week. 2 of the, let's see, we got Mania home tonight to take on Northeastern. First Flight hosts Edenton. Columbia is at Ocracoke, Currituck at Pasquotank, Cape Hatteras at Beargrass Charter, Hobgood Charter at Mattamuskeet, Camden at Hertford County, Gates at Washington County, Tarboro at Perquimans, Northside at Jones, Terracea at Pungo Christian, and Lawrence Academy at Albemarle School. College basketball tomorrow, Wake Forest at Florida State at noon, East Carolina at Tulane at 2 o'clock, NC State hosts Notre Dame at 3, and then it's Duke and Carolina at 6 o'clock. On Saturday night, final appearance by Coach Mike Krzyzewski in the Dean Dome. UNC's warning there's counterfeit tickets been circulating. From what we understand, tickets on the game's sold out, of course. The tickets on the secondary market are going in. I'm seeing $2,000 a ticket for Duke Carolina tomorrow night in the Smith Center. Can't imagine what they're going for in the Cameron game at the first weekend of March. But there are reports already that there's going to be some counterfeit tickets out there and invalidated barcodes showing up, especially on Craigslist and eBay. Stick to the secondary market using StubHub, or they are the only ones if you're looking for tickets, honestly. Especially when it comes to college basketball, StubHub's where you need to go. Let's see. NASCAR is back. It's the Clash on Sunday. But for the first time, it won't be at Daytona. It's going to be at the LA Memorial Coliseum. They have built a quarter-mile asphalt track in the LA Memorial Coliseum. And that's where they're going to race on Sunday. Got the new generation, this next generation, the latest iteration of the NASCAR stock cars, or the Cup cars, making their debut. But it won't be on the big track at Daytona. It's going to be at the LA Memorial Coliseum. Of course, the Olympics, the opening ceremonies held earlier today. As, of course, they're in Beijing again, using the same stadium that's used in the Summer Games. A lot of the same facilities that were used in the Summer Games in China have been repurposed for the Winter Games, for the indoor sports, including curling, which is being played rather than it was in the water cube. It's now the ice cube that they've named it. And the U.S. flag bearer during the opening ceremonies today, none other than the skip of the U.S. men's curling team, John Schuster, who led the U.S. to the first men's gold medal in the sport of curling, first gold medal in curling for the U.S. Back in 2018 in South Korea. He led them to bronze in 2006, but he joined Brittany Bowe, speed skater, as the co-flag bearers for the Team USA during the parade of athletes in the Winter Olympics opening ceremonies, which NBC carried live. I'm so glad they did that. I'm going to get a chance to go ahead and watch it today rather than having to wait till prime time and it's all edited down. We get to see it live. Now, of course, the curling, which I'm all into. The mixed doubles continues through the weekend. U.S. team right now is 2-2. Streaming coverage on Peacock. You can watch all the curling there throughout the games. Select games will be on USA and CNBC, both live and tape delayed. NHL. Don't want to leave that out. Carolina Hurricanes. They don't play again until on the 7th on Monday when they travel up to Toronto for a 7 o'clock start. All right. Moving on to the OBX Today Weather Center forecast for this Friday. Let's throw the radar up here for you, show you where the rain is because it's still a little ways away. We'll see it by this afternoon, though. You can see a pretty distinct line. Actually, yeah, starting to see a few showers up north of Elizabeth City now. And that line of showers is stretching from just on the peninsula, then over to 95 and down to Raleigh. So we'll see the rain here by this afternoon, definitely on the beach. Inland area is probably going to get rained on much earlier as we go through the day today. Got this big, powerful front that's brought an ice storm and snow out to the rest of the country. We're just rain. So today's OBX Today Weather Center forecast, it's going to be breezy, it's going to be rainy, and it's going to be warm with a high of 67. South winds at 20 to 30 miles an hour, some gusts at 35 at times. Tonight, showers, possibly a thunderstorm, low down to 35 with southwest winds 15 to 20, shifting to the north in the evening as the front passes. Clouds in the morning, then clearing off, a high of just 38 tomorrow and breezy with north winds 20 to 30. Sunday, mostly sunny and 44. Monday, we're looking at sunny skies. Mostly cloudy after a chance of rain in the afternoon and a high 52. Tuesday, sunny and 49. Wednesday and Thursday, sunny and highs around 50. Coastal marine forecast today, small craft advisory with south winds 20 to 25 knots, gusts up to 30 knots at times, 2 to 4 foot waves in the sounds, seas 5 to 7 feet. Next tide change at Oregon Inlet. That's a high tide at 10:01 this morning. Sunset tonight at 5:32. Sunrise tomorrow at 6:58. Water temperatures, low 40s on the north beaches, mid 40s down south. On the sound side, you're anywhere from the low 40s to the mid to around 50. That's low 40s. One reason why we got that fog the other day. And currently outside our studios in Uptown Nags Head, it is cloudy, breezy, and 57 degrees. And that will do it for today's edition of OBX Today Live. I'm Sam Walker. Glad you're along with us for another edition. Back with you next week presented by Gallup Funeral Services here on the OBX Today and Sam Walker OBX Facebook pages and the Sam Walker OBX YouTube channel. Have yourself a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you.
Thank God it's Friday! Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend. simple binary code transmitted by carrier wave signal. Radio.
Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.